Oh, happy September, my friends. Thank you for joining me. My name is Tina Kavirgich. If you can't remember that, that's okay. My name is also Northern Stamper. You can always reach me at northernstamper@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is Takeaway Tuesday, and I'm very excited to be here today. And we are going to be using the Gathering Moments. Now, this is an online exclusive, which means that it is not found in a catalog or the mini catalog, which just came out. Hopefully you've got your mini catalog and we're able to go through and see some of the great stuff in there. There's so many great things in here that is it's going to be so much fun to make for Christmas. If you don't have a mini catalog, I do have a couple left, and you could drop me an email, northernstamper@gmail.com, with your name and address, and I can pop one in the mail for you. Just to let you know, we are going to be using Gathering Moments uh, for the month of September, and I love fall. Comment below if you love fall. I just love fall. I love the sunny days and the coolness, and then right when the leaves turn all those beautiful colors. I always remember driving down from work. I'm not retired now, but driving down my street every day and waiting as every day the colors of the trees turn from yellow to orange to bright red. I always love that. I love to see the colors change. I love fall. So Gathering Moments is the stamp set and actually this whole suite we will be using for the month of September. Now, when I talk about bundles and suites and stuff like that, you may not understand, but it's in itself is a stamp set. So when I open it up, you can see the red rubber there, which will be going away. They'll be replacing these with clear stamps. But this is a stamp set by itself, and I love this because some of the great sayings in here are perfect for fall or for Thanksgiving. I love the little images. So these are, oops, we're getting out of focus. These are the items. Oh, we're out of focus. Hold on. Let's see if we can fix this. Hello. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So this is the stamp set. So by itself, we've got some really great images on there for itself as a stamp set. Now, oh, there we go. Working with the Takeaway Tuesdays for the months of September, if you want to follow the cards exactly, you can order these items from me. If not, take a look in the items that you have in your craft room and maybe it can kind of work. Some may not. Let's see how it goes. So this is a stamp set by itself. But when I talk about a bundle, it means the stamp set and the dies or punch that comes with it. Now this one, when it comes as a bundle, it comes with dies, and I'm going to show you some of these dies. They are fantastic. Not only do some of the dies cut out these little images here, so there's an oak leaf, a little mushroom, acorn, and stuff like that. So they cut out these items here, and those are dies. But the Gathering Moments dies, what I really like about this, I was very happy to see. It comes with some very, very large dies that are like leaf shape. There you go. You can kind of see it there. Large leaf shape dies. And these are huge. They are absolutely huge. So those were the outside. So if you just ran these through the machine by itself, it would come out with an image just like that. Oh, just like that. Okay, so you can see the outline of the leaf itself. There's an oak leaf and a maple leaf, and that is just the outline. Now, if you place the outline and the little image, they have this big flat one in there with they've got these little holes in here, right? So if you place, let's try and do this. I'm going to try and find something that I can place it on to show you. There we go. So you're going to run this through your machine. Whoop, we're out of focus again. You place that down. So that's the outline. Remember, that's the outline. And then you're going to place this one with the holes on the inside, right? And you got a piece of cardstock underneath, and you run that through the machine, and it's going to come out with like little holes in it, right? So there we go. This is really cool. So this is the oak leaf. I'm going to put the oak leaf in the center. That, just imagine there's a piece of cardstock in there, and I'm going to run it through the machine, and it's going to come out with a piece with the shape of the outline of the leaf with the little holes in it. That's a really cool idea. I just love that. These leaves are huge, just absolutely huge. I think they're fantastic. I love the large image of them. And as I said, there are some smaller die cuts. Oops, here we go. Smaller die cuts. I don't know what's going on here today. And those would cut out the images in the stamp set itself right here. Okay, just to give you an idea. So if I took one, I would place it on this image and that would cut it out. Okay, so that's very cool. Now that is what a bundle is, means a stamp set and the dies itself together. Now when I talk about a suite, it means everything that comes along with it. And in this suite, which means the stamp and the die set, you also can get the layering leaves embossing folder, which is very cool. It's got little trees on it, and we will be using that later in the month. So that has the folder, which is super cool. The espresso, early espresso on old olive thread, and that is in there, and that's in the suite. And these are the Cajun Craze dots, and I love these. These are going to be a lot of fun using these, and they have a little hint of gold in them, which is fun. So if you have any questions, drop me an email at northernstamper@gmail.com. I know it's kind of like going off a little bit. Those are the bundles, and that is the suite. I just wanted to give you a rough idea about the different terms. You may know what they are, and some people may not. So I just wanted to let you know about that. I just didn't want you to feel like you're left out. So Takeaway Tuesday. If you received a package from me, it's going to look like this. And you're looking for the one that says Takeaway Tuesday for September. And this one says Gather. And that's all it says is Gather. So I want you to take a look for that package. Now, before you follow along with me, I strongly suggest that you watch the whole video, because I'm actually going to make 2 cards. So I have 2 packages, and I thought I could always just make 1 card, but you know what? I had an extra package, and I thought, what if I take that same design and tweak it a little bit on the second card to give you some different ideas? And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make 1 card first, the way I have it designed and laid out. And then I'm going to make another card with the same elements, but I'm just going to tweak it a little bit. And I wanted to give that to you just as an idea of how you can use the same kind of items that we're using, but just kind of change it a little bit. Okay. So just to let you know. Now, in your package, everybody had received some 6x6 designer series paper, which is absolutely fantastic, some pieces of ribbon, and the embellishments. And I'm going to open this up and show you the different pieces of designer series paper. Okay, there we go. I love these papers. Like, look at the colors on that. Oh, I think this is my favorite one. I just love that. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is a beautiful Cajun Craze with some early espresso. I love that color too. But I have to say, I think this one here is my absolute favorite because it has the greens in there. So that's one side of the paper. Absolutely stunning. On the back is a little bit more of a kind of a muted kind of, uh, uh, oh, not as bright or vibrant in image on the other side. And we're going to use some of each. So like I said, before you choose which one you want to do, let's watch the video and decide which one you're going to be using. So for the one card, what I want to do, I'm actually going to look for the one that has the green stripes, and it has the early espresso on the back. Okay, so then I'm going to be using the green stripes, and I want to find something that has some kind of pop of color. Now for me, it is going to be the Cajun Craze, and I'm going to be looking for the one that has some trees on it. Oh, there it is. And sadly, it's on the back of my favorite one, but we're going to use it anyways. Okay, so I'm going to be using this. Watch which way the designer series paper goes because it is directional. These trees apparently go up and down this way. Okay, so I got that, and let's get started making our first card. I'm going to put this one off to the side, and we'll do that one in a little bit. So you're going to choose which designer series paper you want to use. And again, I'm using the uh, Old Olive with the stripes and the Cajun Craze with the trees. Don't forget to get some ink that is the same color. So what I'm going to do is I'm opening my package, and inside is, whoops, here we go. There is the card base itself. Now you can make it portrait, which is up and down, or you can turn it and make it landscape so it opens like this. There we go. And now there's a piece of basic white. And when you have, there's a piece of cardstock that is Cajun Craze. And what you're going to do is you're going to see how the piece of basic white sits right on top of the Cajun Craze. Now we're going to be doing some stamping on the basic white, placing a mat around the edge, around the piece of white before we finish up. Now, there is also a tiny little piece of basic white here, and we're going to be doing a little bit of stamping with maybe the little acorn that comes from our stamp set. All right, so those are the items we're going to be using for this. So give me a thumbs up if you are ready to see the next step, and make sure that you have your inks ready. I'm using crushed curry, which is a yellow, Old Olive, because it matches the cardstock, early espresso, because I think that kind of makes a really nice, bold, strong color for the sentiment and some elements we're going to be using, and the Cajun Craze, which I think is perfect for fall and matches into the designer series paper that we have here. So we have those inks. I'm going to put those off to the side, and I'm going to bring in my piece of basic white. There we go. There it is. We're going to put it on here, and we are going to be looking at the images that we have in here. Now, if I look, there's an oak leaf, another oak leaf, and there's some little pieces here. There's some berries, and these are the ones we're going to work with. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to work from the largest image, which is that oak leaf. There we go. I'm going to be using that one. I'm going to be working down from the largest image down to the smallest. So I'm going to take that. There's another leaf. And then I'm going to be using the little berries. Now, I think that's all I'm going to be using other than some images stamped on a little piece of paper, which is the acorn. Oh, and don't forget, we want to have our sentiment. So I'm going to use this large word gather, and I think that's going to be perfect for upcoming Thanksgiving. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we are actually going to start stamping, and I'm going to start actually with the word gather. Now, because I want to make sure that this is kind of the focal point of the image that I'm making. And I'm going to be using the dark brown early espresso. So I'm going to ink that up. Now remember, if you make a mistake, that's okay. We're just going to flip this over. Okay. And I'm just going to stamp it. I'm not going to stamp it in the middle. It's in the middle, but it's kind of off and down a little bit. So it's just kind of offset a little bit from the center. And you can see it's not quite in the center. It's down a little bit and to the right. Okay, so I have that stamped my sentiment. So that's going to tell me where everything is going to go all the way around. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my largest leaf, okay, my largest leaf, which was that oak leaf, and I'm going to take in a color that I think I want to stand out a lot, and that's the crushed curry. I'm going to ink this up. Here we go. Don't forget patent turd. And I'm going to put that first leaf almost to the word, and I'm going to set it off on the corner there. Oh, there's a little boo-boo, but that's okay. So I'm going to stamp that leaf there, and I want one right across. So I'm going to ink it up and stamp again. Okay, so that's kind of across. Even though there's a little boo-boo, so there is a little halo around here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little halo. That happens when you stamp down and either press too hard or wiggle your stamp set too much. Okay, so there you go. You'll see it around there. You know, that's okay. I can kind of cover that with the next stamp I'm going to do. I'm not going to worry too much about that because you know what? Handmade cards do have mistakes, and that is totally okay. I'm going to take my next leaf. So we used the largest leaf. Now I'm going to move to the next leaf, which is a little bit smaller. Let's see, do I need a smaller block? Yes, I do. And I'm using Old Olive. I'm going to ink that up. And you remember that boo-boo I made? I'm just going to try and stamp right on top, and I better use my right hand. Okay. Just want to make sure I ink it up. I'm going to stamp here. Okay, yeah, good. And I'm going to stamp right on top. Guess what? You can't even see that little boo-boo anymore. And I'm going to do one to the right and the left, kind of coming down. There we go. There we go. Right and left. And I'm going to bring that across here. Again, stamping. Oh, this is looking great. Oops. Okay, so I got the two, whatever's going on in that corner, I kind of brought over to the opposite corner. Okay, and so that was the largest to the smallest. Now I'm going to take these little tiny berries that we have. Let's get a smaller block. I always like to work with the block that fits it best, because if the block is too large, then it's harder to handle. So for what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in some Cajun Craze. I want to bring, Cajun Craze is a nice dark color, but I don't want it to be too overpowering. So I'm going to use a small image and stamp. So those little berries, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of peek them in around the edge, right there, around there. I'm going to turn this a little bit, peek it around. And I'm not going to try and get too much on the other image. I don't want to muddy the image too much, but I want to try and get close to it. Oh, there's another halo. There we go. There's another halo there. So maybe what I'll do is I'll take another dark leaf and just cover that up. Just bring a little bit in here. All right, let's go back and cover up this mistake that I have made there. And that was the one. I'm going to cover it with Old Olive. Okay. And just, I'm looking, stamp straight up and down. And you know what? It looks like part of the leaf now. That's okay. This kind of all worked out. So I love how the colors come together. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take this and we're going to place that on our mat. So you'll see the mat goes completely around. Put a little bit of adhesive on, and I'm going to place that on top. Now, before I put away all my inks, I got this little piece here, and what I want to do is I'm going to stamp this little acorn on here. And I'm going to stamp that in Early Espresso. So I want it to stand out just like it does with the lettering right there. Okay, let's get that on a, there we go. Okay. And I can either fussy cut, which means I can cut itself with some scissors, or I can use the die. Um, it is totally up to you. I'm just going to fussy cut this out here and pop this on, because it won't take me long to cut this out. You just kind of follow along the edge a little bit, and there we go. Okay, got that. Now I have the acorn and the stamping done. Let's bring back in our card base. Now I want to put some designer series paper on, and I want this piece to be on the main part here. So it's going to be cut to 4 inches by 5 1/4. So let's cut this piece down. This is currently 6 by 6. So I'm going to make it 5 1/4 long by 4 inches tall. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to cut it like that. See, it fits right on top. I'm not wrapping any ribbon around, so let's just glue that down. There we go. I'm just going to pop that on there. And it has a nice edge all the way around. Okay, so that is for that base. Now, remember we had this piece that is Cajun craze with the little trees on there. I'm just going to take a piece and cut a strip. And I just want to cut a strip, so let's just take 2 inches. That's a nice even number. And I want it by the height, which is 4. Okay. This is not rocket science. You don't have to go exactly. So it's going to fit on to the left side area. Okay. It doesn't matter. You can go 2 inches, 2 and a little bit, 2, you know what? Doesn't matter. Oh, man, that's hard. Oh, I love the other side though. And I'm going to just pop that roughly about on the left side. You see how it's offset here? Okay, let's move that. And we are ready to assemble our card. What I want to do, so now we have our designer series papers placed down. I am going to take the stamped image we did. Now this is super simple. Now sometimes when we look around our craft room, we have something similar that might work. Take a look. If you don't have this exact set, that's totally okay. This video is to help you and inspire you for creating and giving you ideas. So I'm going to place this off to the side, and I'm going to put it a little bit more to the right than the left. So I wanted to make sure that this stands out. I'm a big believer in using what we have. Now, every once in a while, when you look in the new catalog or the online exclusive, if something really catches your eye, you know what? Then get it. Like this set actually really caught my eye, and I really, really enjoy it. I love fall, so I love leaves, and this is a set I just decided I needed to get, even though I have a whole bunch of other leaves. Okay, so I've placed the acorn down on dimensionals. I also placed the sentiment image on dimensionals, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a piece of twine, and I'm going to try and make a little bow. So notice the word try and make a little bow. Okay, if my fingers work today, I don't know. Every day is a nice way to find out. So let's try and make a little bow. Okay, right. Oh, that's a really big bow. Pull it in. Here we go. Here we go. Look, it's coming. It's working. All right. Tighten those up a little bit. Make it a little smaller. All right. Look, I did it. So excited. I'm going to cut those off. And because this is twine, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some glue dots. And I'm going to take one, roll it up into like a little ball because, you know, It's twine, and I'm just going to touch it down and place that twine right where that dot, that knot is. And I'm going to push it in. Oh, look at that. I think this makes a great Thanksgiving card, which is coming soon. Oh, don't forget we have our little embellishments. There we go. Let's take a look at these embellishments. These are small little Cajun craze with some gold, and let's pop them in. And you know what? Remember I made a boo-boo underneath? Guess what? You can't even tell because I put my acorn right on top of it. Look at that. Oh, this looks fantastic. Wow. I love it. I love it. That looks so cool. I love stamping. It is so much fun. Sometimes we forget to do a lot of stamping because we have all these great designer series papers, but you know what? This is a lot of fun. Now, I did promise you 2 cards with this set, so this is why I wanted you to watch. We're going to do some of the same things with the next card, but we're going to do a couple of tweaks to it. So if you have your package, let's take a look. All right, let's open the next package, and maybe you decide which card you want to make. So again, we have the same idea. There's our card base, there's the outside, there's the mat and our little acorn piece, right? So you got that. I'm going to take that piece of white and we're going to replicate some of that stamping again. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, get some blocks. Oh, sorry about that. And we're going to just stamp again. The same kind of image, but this time we're going to do something a little different. So again, stamp my image. There it is. Looks great. Get our large leaf in our crushed curry ink. Right, I think I need more blocks, which I don't have. Okay, hold on. Oh no! Get our block. We're going to stamp some more, and this time we're just going to try and stamp straight up and down and not get that little halo. Okay, stamp straight up and down. A leaf on that side. A leaf on this side. There we go. Get the smaller leaf. Stamp it in Old Olive. Get our Old Olive going. Stamp it to the left. Stamp it to the right. This is like a workout video. There we go. Stamp it to the side. Put another one in. Oh, you know what? I really like that one. Let's just do another one. Why not? Okay. And now we're going to do our little berries and Cajun craze. Stamping is so much fun. I find it very relaxing. Sometimes getting started is the toughest part. Okay, so we're doing our berries, stamping to there. Trying not to wiggle too much. Turning my paper to do the stamping. Look at that. And this one's got a little bit more to it, but that's okay. Since we got the stamping going, let's go with our little acorn. Stamp our little acorn. We got the hang of it now on that little piece of paper. Okay. All right. We're going to mat the sentiment. There we go. Place it on there. A little bit of glue. There we go. We're going to cut out our little acorn, just like we did the first card. Now, this is exactly what we did with the first one, but I wanted to show you we're going to do something a little bit different. So I wanted to show you can take some same ideas, but change it up just a little bit. Okay, So we have our acorn, we have our sentiment, we have our card base, and what I'm going to do, what I want you to do with this one instead, we're going to cut off a small 1/8 from the side here. Now, if you're going to be doing this card, you do need to bring in a couple of extra items, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off only 1/8 or 1/4, doesn't matter, it's totally up to you, up to the score line. So actually I'm going to take that in here and take it down. And you don't want to go further than the score line. So you're just cutting off a small portion, okay? Just a small portion from the card base, right? Just a small bit. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to bring in a couple of extra pieces of cardstock. And we have ours. I just grabbed a piece of Mossy Meadow. This is the scrap I had, and a piece of basic white. Now this basic white is going to go on the inside, and it is 4 by 5 1/4. But before I do anything else, I'm going to take this piece. It's just a strip. I don't know what it is. I just kind of just roughly measured, and I'm just going to fold it over just like that. Okay, just like that. And all I'm going to do is this is going to kind of tuck in behind here. Now when I close it, you can see a little piece of white on the edge here. Now if you don't want to see that piece of white, you can always shove it down so that it's flush, right? And I'm going to take my little strip, and I think I want a longer piece so I can work with. And I'm just gonna take this, I'm gonna tuck this little piece right about the middle. Whoops, can you see it? Right about the middle. Okay, and I'm gonna glue that down. Okay, now this is gonna go on the inside of the card. So we're gonna take this, and I'm actually gonna tuck it all the way over. I wanna make sure it goes. There we go. There we go. So you can't see it on the edge here, right? Oops, it's hanging out a little bit. Okay, line that up again. There we go. Okay, so this piece is cut off on the right-hand side, so we can have this kind of cut out. We're going to take our piece of designer series paper, and you know what? Let's see, what if I use this? Is this, oh, that's just too much. I think I'm just going to turn it over. And we're going to do the same kind of replication of the first card, but we're going to make this a little bit smaller. So we need to cut it down a little bit to match on here so that we have our frame. So I'm just going to take this piece now. So that is, so I'm going to take it down to 5 inches by 4. Okay, 5 inches by 4. Oops. Place that down and look, oh, it fits exactly. Okay, so I can see the edge around the side here. Let's put that down. Oh, it hurts. It hurts to cover that up, but I'm going to put that on here. Okay, I'm going to look for a little strip. You know what, I can use that little strip. That was my extra. Place that on here. Is this directional? I'm not sure. I don't think it is. Same kind of design. Same kind of design, but I'm going to put this right on top here. And we're going to glue it down. It's the same kind of design, but just a little bit of a tweak. And I'm going to put that on top, a little edge around the right. Look at that. See how it's all coming together? This time I glued straight onto that strip. So when I flip it open, there's the strip on the back here. Okay. Going to take a little dimensional for that acorn. Pop them on here. There we go. I'm not going to add a bow, and I'm actually going to look at some old embellishments that I have and add it on. So look at that. The embellishments that I use actually match the image here, which I think is a very cool idea. So take a look through some of the stuff that you have to see if it works. So this way, the card, which is the same like the other one, this one opens with a little flap and then up, and there's your sentiment on the inside. I think that's so cool. It is kind of the same design, but just a slight difference. What do you think? Does that give you some ideas for a card to make? I'd love to hear what you think of today's card. I love stamping. I love these colors, and I think they're fantastic. I love everything about it, so that is why I bought the suite. Remember, when you look at something, it's really gotta spark your passion for ideas and stuff. If it, I'd like to add it on my list. Put it on your list and give it to like a wish list for Christmas, and people can buy it for you. But if this is something that just like wows you, like it did me, let me know, northernstamper@gmail.com. It is the Gathering Moments suite, and I'm telling you, I just love it. Look what you have in your stash, but if you need some help, drop me an email. My name is Tina Kavrgich, and I really appreciate you joining me today. Thank you so much, and let me know which one of these cards you like the best. Did you like the standard card, or did you like the one with the little flip on it, which is slightly different? Comment below, and I will see you next time where we're going to make another card using this Gathering Moments bundle and suite. I just love these. Have a great day, and I will see you next time.